Well, good morning, and for those of you familiar with retail, this is like a soft opening, right? Where you just begin to get it. This is not the formal opening, of course. It would be with General Lynn in a few minutes. The emphasis there on, for those of you that sit in the back, what my objective here is to give you information. And information means a lot. I can talk about it, but you don't remember it. If I can put it on a slide and you can have access to it, you have something you can deal with. And bottom line here is we want to help you coming to grips with working with DISA. And the first thing you have to understand is understand DISA itself and what its people do and what the programs are and who's in charge. And that's the intention of this briefing. We're trying to help you understand and deal with us. The smarter you all are, whether you be mission partners or industry partners, the smarter you are, the better things are going to be for all of us. So, and that's our intention. It's information sharing, so that's the purpose of this presentation. So again, it's an attempt to give you a fair amount of information, mostly directive type of information. Okay, first of all, and I have to do this every time, and I know who cares about your mission, who cares about your vision. If you do not understand DISA's vision and mission, you don't understand DISA. Okay, we're about information superiority in defense of the nation. Okay, that's what it's about. Okay, we're not flying airplanes at DISA. We do have a couple of vans we drive, but we're pretty much focused on IT. No bombings, no ships, whatever. We're information technology. We are a combat support agency, in point of fact, an IT combat support agency. We don't intend to compete with industry. We don't intend to compete with the military departments. We are here to provide combat support for combatant commanders and the various entities within the Department of Defense that support the combatant commanders. That's our purpose. Infrastructures, global infrastructures, supporting everybody from a private to the president himself. Okay, and I do mean that literally. Okay, showing the visual, that those of you around me that know me know I always show this visual, and that is basically we're global from Kabul around to Seoul, Korea. Okay, a global presence, providing various services, providing voice, data, video, enterprise services, computing services, storage services, accessible globally around the world. We also provide solutions for command and control and information sharing. Okay, again, those are global solutions. And then finally, we have some niche things we provide everybody. Okay, starting from your left, testing. We have the Interoperability and Test Center for joint solutions. Okay, we have the Spectrum Center that is providing that joint or the defense-wide coordination for the management of spectrum. Okay, there was a recent $45 billion auction we were a little involved with. That was rather significant. We're involved with that. We have senior leadership comms. We support some classified programs, but the one that's probably the biggest and most understood is we provide support for the President of the United States when he's moving. Okay, when he is moving around, we provide various forms of communication support so he can operate anywhere he wants. That's the White House Communications Agency. That's a component of DISA. But now we're also expanding to provide service inside of 18 acres. That's the jargon for, of course, the campus, for the White House campus. Okay, so we're providing unclassified and classified IT services for the president while at home. That's an expanded mission that we didn't have in the past. Engineering support, we establish all the standards for the various technological solutions in the department. And then finally, contracting, which is the biggest one from a dollar perspective, roughly $5 to $6 billion in telecommunications contracting each year. So that's in a nutshell. If we want to use some specific statistics, they're shown here. But the one I want to emphasize, which for those of you in the back you will not be able to see, okay, is that we're equivalent to a commercial entity. If we were a business, $11 billion business per year. Now, that's the money that flows in and out. That is not the deployed infrastructure. We're in the 30s to $40 billion range if you're talking about the deployed infrastructure. We're talking about our flow of cash each year, about $11 billion, profit and loss environment, okay, 18 states, some 8 countries globally that we have our presence. 7,800 civilians, roughly 8,000 contractors. Varies, not easy to calculate given performance-based contracting. But nonetheless, that's the way it is. So just a rough idea. This is, This is DISA, okay? This is the agency that you're dealing with, and you'll get to see a bunch with this AFCEA-sponsored initiative today. Okay, this is the leadership of DISA. Now, the first thing that's very important to understand is the director of DISA is also the commander of the Joint Force Headquarters, DODN. Okay, so in one hat, as the director of DISA, he reports to Mr. Halverson, who you'll get to see tomorrow. But in another sense, he reports directly to Admiral Rogers, U.S. Cyber Command. So he has two hats. Okay, and in part of his Cyber Command hat, he has General Skinner as the Deputy Commander of the Joint Force Headquarters, where they operate and assure the DODN. But that's the DODN as a whole. You have the DISA infrastructure, which generally speaking is the wide area infrastructure that I described on the first few slides. But then you have the DODN, which reaches into everything, basically everything IT that connects to the Department of Defense infrastructure. Quite expansive, including just about everything you can imagine that is associated with the Department of Defense, to include all the way down to base level. DISA, generally speaking, is wide area. We don't reside or protect the bases themselves. Okay, you have so that's General Skinner and his support on the right, as you see it up there, and then on the DISA side, you have Major General Zabel, who will be speaking on a panel on Friday. General Zabel is his vice director. I'm the executive deputy director and also the component acquisition executive because they thought I was bored. So they gave me a little extra to do. Okay, it's like tar. I'm from Brooklyn. You get tar on you, you just can't get it off. You know, the acquisition stuff, you just can't get it off. Anyway, I do that, and of course our supporting seniors as well. So again, you won't be able to see the names and things in the back. I would suggest you get to the website. And this briefing, by the way, will stream at the DISA booth for the entire conference as well. So if you want that, it's online, but it'll also stream. Okay, General Lynn will be opening up the conference formally here at noon today. Just want to emphasize that. Okay, this is the agency structure. Okay, and not a big deal. You've got the command, you've got the Joint Force Headquarters up on the right, shown here, the Joint Force Headquarters. You have our resource management folks, senior staff, generally speaking, special staff or senior staff. And then you have our left and our right. And this has become DISA jargon, left and right. And that is the left side is intended to garner the requirements, to develop the solution. The right side is intended to deploy the solution. And then at the bottom, we have the Center for Operations who faces the combatant commanders and the various users and tries to come to grips with that product that was just developed and deployed. Okay, and to ensure that the thing is working 7 by 24 by 365 and a quarter days a year. So that's our structure in general, and I know it is absolutely clear and easy to understand, and we probably do introduce a little confusion. It's a little hard to understand at times, and we understand that because, as you probably noticed, some of the people in the audience are also DISA employees trying to understand what we're doing. So, you know the bad thing about that joke? I did that last year, too. Jesus. We're still trying to get the word out. Okay, and in point of fact, and let me emphasize, what has happened is literally Sunday, we announced some movements, okay? So what you will see is and I'll emphasize those movements. You'll see some of the signage will refer to one person, and yet a new person is coming in to take that over. So I'll emphasize that in this presentation today. Okay, starting off with that senior staff, that command staff, we have those folks that are reaching across the agency. We start with Mr. Sones, Jermaine Sones, who is focused on DODN readiness, understanding and auditing what is happening throughout the DODN, not throughout DISA, but throughout the DODN as a whole, a critical role we're trying to come to grips with, and frankly, it's in its infancy. We're trying to expand to really understand the status of the DODN when it comes from the cyber perspective. So there's Mr. Sones there. Mr. Alan Lewis will be taking over the Defense Spectrum organization. It is currently Mr. Stu Timmerman. Mr. Alan Lewis will be replacing him, and he's in the green bold. That's effective the 1st of May. So Mr. Lewis will be replacing Mr. Timmerman as our spectrum planning and doing spectrum planning and allocation. Mr. Mihalsik, he's our our standard. He's our guiding light, our technical guide. He will be on stage this afternoon. He has been our technical guide for a few years. He'll be on stage this afternoon at 14:15. We have Mr. Bill Keeley will be taking over our as the risk management executive and relieving Mr. John Hickey. He will be providing the risk management oversight as well as the supervising the authorizing official. Mr. Martin Gross, those of you who know Martin know what a talent he is. He is being redirected. DISA has been blessed with the opportunity to deploy the replacement OPM system. Okay, it's like that cat. You get it in the corner, and now what are you going to do with it? Oh, Lord, we're going to give it to Martin. That's what we're doing. We're giving it to Martin. And he is blessed with coming to grips with the replacement for the OPM infrastructure. We will not take responsibility for the existing infrastructure. We will help in any way we possibly can, and we are doing that. But he is coming online with the replacement, so there's going to be a lot of activity in that arena, and that's Martin Gross is going to be the lead for that. The next one we have on board, since we're in the blessing business these days, Brigadier General Brian Dravis has been there doing the JTSO. Nothing's changed there, other than the fact we talked a little bit about it last year, he has picked up responsibility for the Pentagon. Okay, we weren't challenged enough with OPM. Now we're going to do the Pentagon. I'm not sure which one's a bigger challenge, but nonetheless, he basically is responsible for the IT infrastructure inside of the Pentagon, supporting initially the Fourth Estate. In time, it'll be all the military departments as well, but right, the Fourth Estate. So he has the old EITS and the ITA. He's brought those two together, and he's the orchestrating entity down there. And then lastly, we have Colonel Cleo Thomas, who is the commander of WACA. Again, WACA has expanded its mission as it is supporting the White House itself. So that's that senior staff. Okay, moving on, back to the structure again, we have the two other elements. We have our resource management under Miss Santa Sims, and she has all our resources. She has our financial side in the form of Tom Ainsworth, and we have a new executive, Mr. Will Kronzer, is picking up our personnel. So that'll be on the left, as you see there. On the other side, Mr. Larry Huffman, a friend of a few of us in the audience, has just retired, and Mr. Larry Klooster has assumed the guide on, at least in an acting role. Mr. Klooster is taking over that role. Okay, now what we'll do is transition and get a little bit more tactical. Okay, we have our left side. Okay, on the left side, it remains Mr. Rivera. I know some of you didn't think he would last. Well, he's made it this far. Okay, he does attend AA meetings, but nonetheless, we've got Alfred Rivera on the left. Nah, I'm kidding, right? I'm just kidding. Maybe not. Anyway. Okay, his deputy has seen the light, or his vice has seen the light, and that is Mr. Alan Lewis will be taking over the Defense Spectrum office, and Jack Wilmer will take over as the vice director for DBC. So we have Jack, we have Colonel Hunt, who's garnering the requirements from our users, our various mission partners, Cindy Ure, who is trying to keep us out of trouble with the press and doing that job. Doing okay. And then Mr. John Hickey will be taking over a newly characterized directorate called the Cyber Directorate. He will be our cyber portfolio manager, and he will have most of the development activity associated with cyber. Okay, so he's currently in the process of getting an unlisted number, if you can imagine. But he's got the process. So he will have our cyber. We're trying to concentrate. We're trying to come to grips with the complexity of cyber, okay, and the fact that there's a myriad of solutions out there, bringing them together, trying to make some sense of it, trying to take the finances available and optimize the use of those finances. It's a huge problem we have right now with our finances. We are under constant pressure to reduce budget. Our appropriated budget is being slammed. And the result is trying to take that money and properly use it or effectively use it is what we're trying to do. So we're giving John that job. He's got direct control over anything development, and that's cyber and NetOps. He has direct control, but then he also has, as the cyber portfolio manager, oversight over all cyber activity. Captain Holzlander, who has covered for Mr. Keeley in his absence, will continue in that role, and he will continue to garner or supervise that group. And then we have Captain Johnson, who has been handling the Joint Interoperability and Test Center out at Fort Huachuca. Just as a reminder, Colonel Hund will be in Theater 5 at 8:15 on Friday, and Mr. Hickey will be with us this afternoon. He'll be on my panel this afternoon along with Mr. Rivera. So you have an opportunity to ask some questions of him. Mr. Hickey, a little bit expanded discussion of what he's going to be looking at. And obviously, the various PKI, cybersecurity solutions, joint regional security stack. If you don't know what that is, you don't understand the cyber focus in the Department of Defense. That is the biggest single thing we are working on, joint regional security stack with a myriad of solution sets inside of that stack. He is also taking our NetOps efforts, all of our development efforts within the NetOps arena. He is trying to take that and bring it together so that it not only works optimally inside of the NetOps focus area, if you will, but also is integrated with our cyber solutions as well, because we have a cyber operational focus. And then lastly, he has in his portfolio is SDN, okay? Software-defined networks. We don't understand. Why software-defined networks? Well, frankly, the focus of the boss, the director, is he wants to use SDN to contribute to the fight when it comes to cyber. He wants to exploit SDN and the benefits it could be to protect our infrastructures. So we put that under Mr. Hickey as well. Okay, still on the left side, now the other development effort is under Captain Holzlander. And what you can see is the good captain's got cloud, all our activities to do inside cloud as well as commercial cloud. Captain Holzlander is picking that up. Now again, this is effective the 1st of May. Captain Holzlander will be picking that up. We're taking our mission partner environment, the one we've been giving lip service to. It's not nice. The one we've been doing but not doing a good job of. We're really trying to accelerate that. And we're going to put that under Captain Holzlander, and we've got some great activity currently underway between CENTCOM, UCOM, and PACOM. We're truly standing up to the coalition challenge. We're doing a great job really beginning to get traction in that arena. We're putting that on the Captain Holzlander. Legacy stuff is staying on the right, but the new stuff on the left. We have the mobility. We have mobility we're reporting to the captain. Of course, we're really moving out on mobility as it relates to the unclassed, but also the classified side, the secret. And you'll be told, of course, about the top secret solution we deployed. Okay, Defense Collaboration System and Global Video Services. If you take a look at those two systems, okay, there's overlap. So what we've decided to do is put those in the same division under Captain Holzlander. And you just can't replace one with the other, but you certainly need to have them evolve together. So we're doing that, and that's under Captain Holzlander, okay? And then lastly, which we've already put an RFI out and got some great industry input from the RFI, and that is on DEOS, the Defense Enterprise Office System. That is basically that unified capability system that's more than just email, it's chat, it's video, et cetera. We're putting that DEOS, we're going to be putting out efforts on DEOS. So that's a major contractual effort of which we've already put out RFI information on, got great information back from, or put out a solicitation, got great information that has changed our intentions. We had originally just we were going to go for an enterprise email solution. After getting industry response, we realized the state of the art is such, we really now need to broaden it to encompass more than just email itself. So that's going to be a major initiative under Captain Holzlander. Okay, on the right side now. Okay, now I'm on to the implementation and sustainment side under Mr. Dave Bennett. Okay, he has Mr. Stu Timmerman is now will be his vice the 1st of May. Stu relinquished, as I say, DSO. He's coming down. And he's got two organizations. He's got Jesse Showers' organization and now Jason Martin. That's a change. Everything highlighted in green is a change. That used to be Mr. Dave Stickley. Okay, Stickley moved on to industry, and now Mr. Martin is acting in his stead. Okay, so first with Mr. Showers, you've got transport. For those of you that remember the network services, remember the DISN, Generally speaking, this is focused on communications, the DISN, various network services initiatives, and if you take a look at it, it pretty much, it's the terrestrial and satellite communication systems. No big change here. It's pretty much consistent with the way we have been in the past, and that's under Jesse. And again, he will be with me on the panel this afternoon and welcomes your questions. Okay, Mr. Jason Martin, as I say, he's the acting in charge of this initiative. Jason, generally speaking, has the computing environment, but the computing plus the enterprise services environment. Okay, so not only does he have he's working closely with the DECs and try and get contract support for capacity services and the like for the DECs. He also carries the Win 10 initiative. For those of you who understand that Win 10 is where the Department of Defense is going for its office automation, and he is in charge of that as we move forward. Okay, voice over eVoIP and eCVoIP, voice over IP. Okay, normally a communications thing, we saw that more as an application, so we've moved it off to the right. DISANet, for those of you who support us, our DISA organic network itself is under Jason. Capacity services, and as I say, the various enterprise services that we provide. DEE, for example, enterprise email or DEPS, that is under Jason Martin. Okay, back to contracting. Now, again, my attempt here is to tell you how to work with us and who to work with, where to get into the agency, and how to go forth. So I wanted to give you the key people that are really making contract decisions. You know, you go and talk to a PM and, oh, we love you to death, but, you know, it's those contracting communists, right? Okay, well, these are the contracting communists, okay? First of all, you've got Mr. Doug Packard, and now newly arrived Katrina Brisman. Those are the folks that are leading our contract activity within the agency. Okay, you also have in the middle, you have Sharon Jones. Okay, Ms. Sharon Jones, she is leading our small business initiative advocate. She's our small business advocate. We have made our numbers every year as long as I can remember. We're very, very proud of our small business numbers. And then, as I talked to you before, I talked to you about a left and a right. And the way we restructured the agency last year is we concentrated all the contracting in the left and the right so that you didn't have individual one-offs in each place, that we tried to bring our contracting efforts together and realize some true economic benefits to it, and made sure scopes were built so that they could support more than one branch, more than one division, et cetera, et cetera. So we have the left and the right. We have Ms. Colleen Runze is orchestrating all of the left, that is under the development and business side. And then you have Mr. Paul Barbera is on the right, and he's working all of the implementation and sustainment ones. And remember, your implementation and sustainment, generally speaking, sustainment services contracts, maintaining things, as opposed to, on the left, generally speaking, trying to build something contracts. Again, those extreme generalizations that I've just laid out. Okay, contract vehicles. This is a very small attempt just to say, I always get people that come into my office or other offices and say, oh, we got this great solution. That's wonderful. Having great solutions are wonderful things to have, okay? But the problem is we have our regulations we have to deal with. Well, how do we get to you? These are the contract vehicles we have in place. And just as a general characterization, okay, these are various vehicles we have in place, but we have two of them shown here that are new ones, okay? You've heard of Encore 3, right? RFP's out, okay? And then we have SETI as well. Okay, SETI's not on the street yet. We're trying our best to get our I's dotted and our T's crossed. SETI will go to the Pentagon for peer reviews and the like. So SETI's going to be a distant in the distance, not too far away, but nonetheless, it's going to be a challenge getting that out because it is such a massive engineering contract, whereas Encore 3 is more of a commodity. I'll say a commodity services contract, if you will. But the rest of them are in place. And the bottom line here is if you're going to come to us for contractual activity, you're looking for more business with us, please look at what's available. And if you've already got that thing that you're a sub on or a prime on and whatever, you've made it that much easier for us to work with you and to expand our our work with you. I will say at this time, I haven't said it, at least not adequately in my mind, we are under severe budgetary challenges. I mean, really severe budgetary challenges. And each session, it gets worse and worse. We are having some serious problems, and the days of the 90s and even the 2000s, the post 9/11, they're gone. They are gone. We are contracting, okay? And I mean contracting in the physical sense. It's getting tighter and tighter. So optimal solutions, that's what we need. Okay, when you do come to see us, these are a couple of things you have to understand. What are the codes that you're compliant with? Do you have any arrangements with whether you're affiliated with other contracts or not? What are the vehicles that are available? Okay, what kind of business relationships do you want to work as far as, are you in a subcontractor role, whatever? Know your environment. Don't come in cold to us. Got a great technical idea? Wonderful. And we'll love you to death and then say goodbye. Okay? You got to figure out the business. You got to understand the businesses or the limitations we have and who you have to work with. And I'm not trying to make this a contracting briefing, but what I did want to say is hey, we want you to work with us. We need you to work with us. But please do your homework before you come see us, because we're running. The average employee you're going to be dealing with that this is running. Okay, we're just running hard, and if you make it easier for us, it'll be easier for you. So that's if you can accept that. Okay, where are we going? What is our future? If you want to get in here and do work with us, these are the things you got to be thinking about. Okay, you've got to be thinking about cyber. Okay, and identity. Assured identity is a really new hot item for our 3-star. And if he doesn't say it this afternoon, I'll be one surprise puppy. Okay, assured identity. He beats us senseless on that. Okay, of course, cyber defense as a whole. Okay, we are under constant attack. Of course, most of you with your access to the Washington Post or whatever else know that. We're getting constantly beaten up from a cyber perspective, so we're constantly trying to do that. Mobility, we're really pushing hard. We know that mobility is our future, okay? And everything we do, and I'm talking about the bigger things. Remember, those of you that are familiar with the global combat support system and things like that, you need to realize we're pushing to make them, okay, mobile compliant, okay? That COCOM wants to be able to turn to his BlackBerry, his BlackBerry, his iPhone, whatever it may be, or even his tablet, and wants to see the picture. We currently have a capability, UVDS capability, where you can see when a predator shoots a rocket, or you can see a predator monitoring what's happening. We have that deployed today. Our combatant commanders want to look at that on their cell phones. They want to be able to look at that and watch a launch of a missile against a target. That's what they expect. It'll be a classified cell phone, a classified secret. And we have them today, the DMCC solution, but he expects or she expects to see that. Okay, mobility is our future. We have to, everything you think about, it's got to have mobility in the back of its mind. Okay, cell phones, et cetera, cell devices. So please keep that in mind as you go forth. Cloud, okay. I saw somebody had a booth that said net centricity on it. Okay, net centricity, cloud, I don't know. I'll defer to smart people to make the distinction. I'm still hard-pressed. Bottom line is cloud, of course, we're moving not only externally but also internally. And you'll get much more about this, but when we talk about cloud, you've got to talk about cybersecurity, okay? You've got to come to grips with security. That has been our biggest problem when it comes to cloud. Cloud works. We know it works, okay? The issue is protecting it, keep it clean, trusting it. That's the issue. Cloud's big deal. We're going to be doing it on the inside of the perimeter. We're going to do it on the outside, okay? But we have to work that deal out, and you'll be seeing a lot more about that, okay? And then lastly, software-defined networks. We are hot on that. We're pushing hard on seeing what's available and actually trying to get it deployed as soon as possible. Over the course of the next couple of days, we're going to have DISA seniors at the DISA booth. Please make sure you know who's going to be there, when, and who you want to talk to. They're there for you, so please take advantage of that. And if you don't want to do that, Friday afternoon, we'll have them all in the bridge area, I think is what they call it, the bridge area. We'll have them all there. We have been criticized for not making ourselves accessible. We're trying desperately during the next 3 days to be accessible. This is required duty for all DISA seniors. They're expected to be in this building for the next 3 days and be at your disposal to interact, to discuss, take your thoughts, Okay, that's our job. Our job is not to sit here for a couple of presentations and go. Our jobs are to be here for you. Okay, so please take advantage of that. Because when we get back to work, you know what happens. The email, the cell phone, whatever, and we're off and running. So please take advantage of the seniors that are here today. Okay, and lastly, again, as the emphasis for any briefing hopefully you see today is the only way we're going to support these combatant commanders effectively in supporting the men and women who go in harm's way is if we work together. AFCEA, industry, DISA, the military departments, we've got to work together. Otherwise, we're doing a disservice to our men and women who are in harm's way. With that, I am out of altitude and airspeed, and I'll be happy to take questions. Easy ones first. Oh, geez. Okay. How are we doing, Jerry?
Fine, Tony.
Okay, good. I like that. Jerry, the microphone doesn't work. Next, please.
Okay, I wasn't going to do this today. Can everybody hear me? I can't hear this on. It's interesting to hear that, you folks are opening up, want us to come in and understand the organization and then explain our capabilities that we can bring to you, ways to get to us. How do we struggle with the problem that we have, because almost everything you folks do is under a long-term budget. You have your 5-year POM, you have to program the money in. We come in with a great idea. How do you shift that money around, either from working capital fund or from your appropriated money, so that you can get to us and get that solution that you may need?
Okay, next question. Okay. So, Jerry, I can answer that question if I knew what the answer was, or I can double talk my way around that question, okay? Forget this term DWCF and appropriated. That's our problem. And anytime you are told about DWCF and appropriated, okay, we need to slap the government employee who does that. We need to stop that. Bottom line, we have need. We have a contractual need to provide something that's on a deployed infrastructure that has contract support, or we have a need to support something internally. Okay, internal appropriations are annual. DWCF is a little bit more flexibility, but again, we are compliant with the laws of the land. So how do you beat that? I don't know exactly how to answer that question, so I apologize, unless I have one of my smarter people here that can answer it. No, not my smarter people are shaking their heads too. So, no, sorry, Jerry. Okay, now I'm really open to questions. Easy ones. I look better. I sound better. Whatever you got. No, seriously. Any other questions? Good. So the new formula is fail to answer the first question, and that ends the questions. This is okay. I'm learning. I'm learning. Seriously. Any other questions? If not, then have a great symposium. Okay, that's it. One question, I fail it. Jeez.